3 News Now this week.
It's not even Christmas, but flu season has hit Nebraska and Douglas County hard. The county health department says over 2,000 cases of influenza have been reported. Over 800 of them have been confirmed this week.
We're breaking records, so we've seen more positive influenza test results than we've done before.
The CDC reports the rates of flu-like illness in Nebraska as among the highest in the country. At least one local case has been fatal. Douglas County saying today, one person over 65 years old has died.
This is one of the age groups that is at risk. People who are older, people who have other medical conditions that can be exacerbated by the flu.
Now here at this downtown Nebraska medicine facility, they opened up a flu clinic just a few weeks ago. Since then, they've seen an influx of patients who think they have the flu.
We've already seen 50 patients for our flu clinic. That doesn't mean they all had the flu, but those were people who thought they had an illness that was similar to it, at least their symptoms sounded like flu.
Dr. Scott McPherson says they've mainly seen influenza A at his clinic, and when somebody gets the virus, it lasts 4 to 5 days. It also spreads easily, so if you get it right before family Christmas, you need to be extra careful.
Well, they are contagious, so they have to take that into consideration. I'm not going to tell someone they can't spend time with their family, but there's a risk.
The health department and Dr. McPherson say flu shots are key, and it's not too late to get one this season.
This year has been very effective. It is helping to reduce the people, at least the illness, if they get influenza, or it may completely prevent it.
Reporting in Omaha, John Kipper, 3 News Now.
Last week, the Benson Bike Corral was removed and bicyclists are up in arms.
Community members in Benson and all of Omaha are not going to let that happen. We're not going to forget about it.
Greg Lilly says community members and Benson First Friday created art installations around Omaha, in Benson, and downtown, using ghost bikes to remember the 12 stalls that are gone, with different messages. The 12 stalls turned into one parking spot.
Benson in particular is full of young professionals, young artists, young musicians, young chefs, and we want more ways of transport or getting around the city besides our motor vehicles. We want a bike. We want to feel safe walking. We want better bus systems.
The corral was outside the former Omaha Bicycle Company location near 60th and Maple. The Public Works Department says there's no plan to reinstall it right now.
It should have been kept here, or should have been communicated much more effectively than it was.
Councilman Pete Festerson says the new tenant does want the corral in front of their building, and Benson can have both, a bike corral and find more parking.
We can accommodate additional parking interests while we also accommodate things like biking corrals and biking stands and everything else like that, because it should all work together and all be an effective strategy together.
Some of the art installations were taken down quickly. Lilly says this topic won't go flat.
Just so the city knows, this will continue.
Councilman Festerson says that the Benson Business Improvement District will meet on January 8th. Not only will they be there, but Ken Smith, the Omaha Parking and Mobility Manager, will be there as well to talk all the options as to what could happen down here in Benson. Reporting in Benson, Jake Wazakowski, 3 News Now.
These athletes are not your typical boxers.
Step in with a jab.
They don't compete, but they do fight. Together, they're fighting Parkinson's disease, a disorder of the central nervous system that affects movement, often including tremors. And they're fighting it one jab at a time.
Well, the number one thing they tell you to do with Parkinson's is exercise. There's some medication that helps, but exercise gives you more agility, more strength, more power to push through the symptoms of Parkinson's. There's no cure, but it can help delay the disease, and that's why we're fighting here today.
Rick Rogers has been dealing with Parkinson's for nearly 11 years. He's also the co-owner of the Rocksteady Boxing Affiliate Club in Papillion, one of more than 700 affiliate programs around the world. The club meets twice a week at the Papillion Landing Fieldhouse.
We do some drills we do include both mental skills, agility skills, strength skills, and just getting together with other people in similar situation as you and knowing that you're not fighting Parkinson's alone, that gives you a boost and gives you hope.
The class is led by Coach Mark Johnson, a former boxer and longtime boxing coach. He completed his Rocksteady boxing certification in 2017.
2, 3. This is my boxing team, and each one of the fighters have different things, different characteristics, and I try to work on them in that context of developing their skill quote unquote, as well as helping them with their coordination and movements.
The class focuses on both physical and mental skills. They begin with a general warm-up, then go into boxing training.
You're not hitting one another. It's just training with the bags that you see behind us, and the coaches will use the boxing mitts and allow us to box with them and instruct us as we go along.
They also do a workout using weights and other exercise equipment that focuses on strength. Johnson says their elderly age doesn't matter. He coaches them the same way as he would a younger person.
A left jab is a left jab, a right hand is a right hand. You still need to throw it correctly. And I think that's where boxing benefits people with Parkinson's, because you have that movement.
Julie Black was early diagnosed with Parkinson's at age 56 3 years ago. She's been going to Rock Steady Boxing for about 9 months.
I think probably what's been most beneficial is the agility. You know, working with your legs, your arms, and your mental as well. You know, when they're telling you to hit a jab or hit an uppercut, you know, and move around the bag as well. You know, it's everything in motion, and including, you know, cognitive, your brain as well as movement.
Good work, good work, good work.
Thanks.
She says getting to box and being around others with the same condition has helped her.
It's great because we all boost each other up at no matter what level we're at. So, you know, if you're just starting out, if you're you know, if you're early diagnosed, or if you've had it for 10 or 15 years, you're welcome here, and everyone will encourage you.
Others have also noticed the benefit.
I guess I'd like to think I'm more alert and not as tired as all the time. My strength is coming back to where it's not acceptable yet, but it's getting a lot better as we go along.
And they'll continue to go along, fighting for better and stronger bodies.
That's the big thing, giving back a better quality of life to people, to play with their grandchildren and move around and just get around day-to-day activities a lot easier. Hoorah! Fighting back! Hoorah! Fighting back! All right, let's go. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that kind of stuff.
With Santa's sleigh heading to Omaha, shoppers were busy at Nebraska Crossing getting in those last-minute gifts.
Doing some last-minute shopping for the grandparents and the siblings, and then just making sure we get some stocking stuffers for the rest of the family.
There's people that shop months in advance for the holiday, and then there are people that shop like literally in the last 24 hours.
Johanna Boston is the Chief Strategy Officer for Nebraska Crossing. She says business has stayed strong heading into the holiday.
So you're seeing a lot of people that actually have extra people on their list that they're shopping for, but you also see people with 14 bags in their hands, so you know that they're like power shopping their way the day before.
While 56% of people will shop online this holiday season, according to the National Retail Federation, many still head to stores. 9% nationwide will go to an outlet mall.
Despite what you hear about retail, our retail is trending up.
Inside Vineyard Vines, staff workers were busy restocking the shelves. Over at the Adidas outlet,
Real busy day, real busy, from the busiest ones we've seen yet.
over the last few years, sales have trended up at Nebraska Crossing close to the holidays. Boston says people coming back from out of town to visit family have been a big boost to business.
They don't like to travel with all of their Christmas gifts, so they come here, they know that they can do all of their shopping right before the holiday.
And with that cold weather out and the sweater weather in, it's the perfect temperature for that last minute shopping.
People want to be outside. Everybody's walking around in sweatshirts and no jackets on. It's a heck of a lot better than an ice storm.
Reporting in Gretna, Phil Bergman, 3 News Now.
One of the things that we need to do is remember that we're working with a live tree, that this tree is still alive, and that we need to keep it watered. Just like any plant in the house, we need to keep it well hydrated. And so when it comes to the tree stand, we want to make sure that we keep that reservoir full of water, because if we allow it to dry out, the tree can actually plug the water conducting tissue inside that trunk, and that can prevent the water from moving up. So to prevent that, we need to make sure that we're keeping this reservoir full of water. Now, the general rule of thumb, it's 1 quart of water for every inch of trunk diameter, which is the distance across that circle. And Typical, it's about a gallon of water.
And is daily are you talking about, or weekly?
Daily.
Okay.
We want to be, before we go to work in the morning, we want to be sticking our finger in here, checking to make sure it has water. When we get home in the evening, make sure that it still has water. Top it off if we need to. Watering cans are going to make your life so much easier because if you use like a milk jug or
reaching under there,
under there, you're going to make a big old mess, and that's not what we want. So something with a spout. So a small watering can like this is going to make your life so much easier.
So a lot of people talk about, putting dye in the water or sugar water. Does that do anything?
Unfortunately, no. A lot of those home remedies haven't been proven to be successful. We've heard of aspirin, sugar, fertilizer. None of that's going to work. Some of our garden centers have additives to extend the life. And a bunch of universities have done research, and they haven't shown that to be successful. So just use plain tap water. Doesn't matter what temperature it is, just get it out of the faucet and pour it into the reservoir of the tree.
We were talking a little bit about plant placement and saying, don't keep it near a furnace or anything like that. But also, it's a growing, living plant. Should it get sunlight?
That's a great question. And one of the things that we forget about, sunlight produces heat. And we want to try to keep those needles as hydrated as we can. So if we have it by the window, you might need to shut those blinds during the brightest part of the day because that sunlight is going to produce some warmth and it could evaporate that moisture out of the needle, shortening the life of that tree.
So after Christmas, how long can I keep my tree up? I know there's an amount of time before it's tacky to leave it up, but when is it time when you realize it's just gone?
It's a lot of times that tree is going to take on a blue-green color. That dark, rich green color is going to fade, and we're going to start seeing that bluish tint. And a lot of times, if you bump into the tree, the needles are going to really start falling off. So that tree is going to be telling you when you should be taking it down.
Families in Omaha, a beloved holiday tradition on Christmas Day is heading to the movies.
Something to do in the middle of the day after we've opened presents. It's easy. It's the only thing open.
At the Alamo Draft House in La Vista, families flock to the films for some rest and relaxation after some busy times.
We usually bring our kids and everything like that. Now they're older, so we keep the tradition going.
It's the only thing open.
I think we all grew up doing that.
This year, one major blockbuster was the hot ticket.
The new Star Wars movie?
Star Wars.
Watching Rise of Skywalker.
Over in Bellevue, it was all hands on deck at Umami Asian Cuisine.
Very busy. Yes, one of the busiest for sure.
Chinese and sushi restaurants are one of the few places open each Christmas.
Everyone knows, kind of Chinese restaurants are typically open on Christmas Day.
Yeah, it's comforting and we don't have to worry about cooking or cleaning on Christmas Day.
Christmas means something different for everybody, different traditions and different ideas of what to do. But on this Christmas, it was a time for loved ones to come together.
To have the whole family together, so that's what the big thing was.
Just, a great time, get everyone together, family time.
Reporting in Omaha, Phil Bergman, 3 News Now.
Every small city has a hidden gem.
We always get good deals.
One of them in David City is Renee Cush's antique store.
I've been here 10 plus years.
But after being a staple in this farming community for more than a decade, time seemed to be running out.
If anything, I would have closed.
Different construction projects to nearby roads took 3 years to finish, which forced customers to take their business elsewhere.
The businesses, I think we kind of lost that will to live, you know, will to survive as a business.
But while Renee just considered closing, other businesses did just that.
The parent company has announced that they are going to move the jobs to Mexico and they will close.
A for sale sign looms just as large as the Fargo assembly factory that employed many local people.
It's 187 jobs. About 30% of the workforce is from David City.
David City experienced loss in another way too. Key figures who were behind Christmas traditions passed away, seemingly taking those events with them.
We haven't had any Christmas traditions. We did years ago, but it started to fade away.
But something else started to fade away too, and it's what small cities are known for: camaraderie.
The town was very divided. We were very depressed.
Kelsey Keeling of the Butler County Chamber of Commerce witnessed it all, especially after sending the release about the factory closing. But then, something good came out of it.
Little did I know that Hallmark Channel would actually read that.
Christmas presents come in many different forms. Some you have to unwrap, but others don't come in a box at all. And that's the type of gift David City received.
I love this one.
Hallmark, whose founder Joyce C. Hall is from David City.
Born in 1891 and then lived here till 1902.
Came and decorated the downtown streets after hearing about the long roads of bad luck.
It's really created a boost that our community needed.
Many stores also decorated early as Hallmark spiced up the city like never before.
16 feet. I'm short.
Then slowly, things started to change. Christmas festivals started coming back.
Perhaps his shoes were too tight.
The downtown streets were once again full with people. And after word spread about Hallmark's makeover, many traveled from all across the nation to see it, which helped business owners like Renee.
It increased business 100-fold. I mean, it was like I never had hardly anybody come in, but now people from all over the United States have heard about it. People have come in. I mean, we're busy.
But maybe most importantly,
hi, Keith.
The excitement of everything happening lifted everyone's spirits.
The timing was perfect in a typical Hallmark movie.
You could just feel the spark.
Now heading into 2020, many are optimistic for what the future holds for David City. That just a few months prior was more of a curse than a gift.
We had a flood earlier this year. It's been kind of a tumultuous year, so to say, but it's really ended on a positive note for David City.
Breathing. It's not something most of us think twice about. But for Nick Bell and other patients living with cystic fibrosis, it's a constant struggle.
Just a drain on your energy daily. You do so many treatments just to keep yourself breathing.
According to the University of Nebraska Medicine Center, cystic fibrosis is a life-threatening disease that builds up mucus in the lungs with an average survival age of just 47 years. Like most patients, Nick was diagnosed as a baby.
I like to joke around and pretend that my lungs are like these two busted first vehicles I had. I used to have a 1980 Volkswagen Rabbit convertible, and that's my right lung. And I had this old Toyota pickup 4x4, and that's my left lung. And I'm like, I want to die with these suckers.
At low points in his battle with CF, Nick adds it's felt like he was breathing through a straw. However, right now, things have changed. A new drug, Trikafta, was approved by the Food and Drug Administration in October and has dramatically increased Nick's lung function to the point where he's even started working out again. UNMC Dr. Peter Murphy says the medicine is the cutting edge of science.
An average of 14% improvement in lung function, as much as 30% for some folks. They're able to exercise, move about with much less coughing, easier to clear mucus from their lungs.
Unlike other drugs, Trikafta is eligible for 90% of CF patients. For Nick, this new drug has changed his life. About a year ago, Nick's team at UNMC told him to start thinking about fundraising for a lung transplant. However, with this new medicine, that's not even an option. He is no longer eligible for that lung transplant because of the improvements he's seen from this medicine.
To be told that earlier this year, it's how I feel right now, standing in front of cameras, talking about my life. It's a whirlwind. It's definitely been a game changer.
Before Trikafta, Nick's lungs were just functioning at 35%. Now he's at 54%, with a goal of strengthening that number with this new lease on life. In Omaha, Kent Lutzen, 3 News Now.
Christmas morning has passed. Everyone's opened up their favorite presents from under the tree. Now all there's left to do is get rid of the trash. You may not think about that part too much, but you just may want to.
My first thought is just I want to get it out of the house. I don't want any of the clutter around. I don't want any of it. So my first thought is I just want to get it out, and so it's ready to be taken and gone.
Along with many other people, Papillion resident Sarah Cooper doesn't want to deal with all those empty Christmas boxes, but just leaving them out with the rest of the trash is free advertising for all the wrong kind of people.
It's pretty much just advertising to the basic criminal that's out there. Hey, look what I bought. And you kind of set yourself up for a potential burglary on your residence.
You leave boxes out, you can see if someone got a new TV, new toys, new video games. All of that is definitely typical. I would expect that.
Law enforcement recommend removing your addresses off of boxes and then breaking them down to make sure your home doesn't become a target.
What we like to see people do is break down all those boxes like we have in this secondary photo. Nobody's really going to think twice about stopping and trying to dig through those items.
And when you're making returns on the presents that just didn't work out, make sure the items are not visible in your vehicle.
Don't leave anything exposed that you can tell what's inside your vehicle. Obviously, making sure that your vehicle's locked, but again, don't try to leave anything that's in the open.
Sarah is choosing to opt out of long return lines for now.
I like to wait, to be honest with you, just because I want to get away from the hustle and bustle of it.
But if you need to make returns now, the Better Business Bureau also has some tips. Familiarize yourself with store policies. Make sure you have your receipt, bring your ID, and understand that there may be lines and a wait. This is a time of year when burglaries become increasingly more common. Protect your home, your car, and your family.
He's ready for a nap.
So that Christmas spirit isn't cut short. Reporting in Papillion, Rudolph Sinaida, 3 News Now.
It's that time of year where many families see clutter from all the new gifts they got over the holidays. Chief photographer Stephanie Nolte shows you how to combat clutter and make a place for your new things.
The stockings are empty, gifts unwrapped, empty boxes pushed aside. The holidays have come and gone. Now we have to figure out what to do with all this stuff.
Have a one in, one out mindset.
Laura Neeson is a professional organizer. She says the best way to find a place for something new is to get rid of something old.
This one, okay. Is there a sweater that we can take out and donate?
And that process doesn't just have to be up to mom.
Toys are abundant in most homes, so I would say the best thing to do is try to involve the children in selecting toys that they'd like to donate. Everything should have a home, and if things are falling out onto the floor, then it's time to really think about what's being used, what's appreciated, and try to part with those things that just don't have a place.
Neeson says, don't box up and store your unused items.
Pass those items along to family members, neighbors, friends.
If the time comes and you need those items again, hand-me-downs, she says, usually come full circle. So don't feel bad about not hanging on to something. In Omaha, Stephanie Nolte, 3 News Now.
And after decluttering a few places, you can donate items in Omaha, including the WCA, Open Door Mission, and St. Vincent de Paul thrift store. With the holiday season wrapping up, the Christmas trees are coming down. Here again is reporter Kent Lutzen with more on how the city of Omaha is helping with that process.
The process, it's pretty quick. Pull up, grab the old Christmas tree, and toss it in the pile.
I think it's a great service that the city provides. It's a good option for getting rid of Christmas trees after the season has passed.
The city's holiday disposal sites are pretty popular too. According to recycling coordinator Matt O'Connell, last year they received close to 150 tons of trees, costing taxpayers about $19,000 to dispose.
Well, we like to see the trees go to a beneficial use, not become trash or get dumped illegally.
The city says there's a few things you're gonna need to do before you come and drop off your tree. Remove any nails and wires. Get rid of that plastic bag. Make sure you take off those lights and those ornaments, and of course, keep your tree stand. If these steps are not taken, O'Connell says it can create problems in the grinding process when the trees are recycled.
The compost, it's a soil amendment, so it's mixed with other material, leaves, other things that's collected from the yard waste. It's mixed together and then processed into a growing medium.
O'Connell adds the city will have the drop-off locations available until January 8th. Anything disposed after that date could result in a penalty.
The sites are open during daylight hours until January 8th. After that, any trees that are dumped at any of the drop-off sites are considered illegal dumping and can face up to a $500 fine.
The city reminds residents to throw the tree on top of the pile to allow space for traffic. In Omaha, Kent Lutzen, 3 News Now.
But following breaking news tonight, Omaha police say a shooting near Miller Park left 1 man dead. Kent Lutzen has more from the scene.
Omaha police have confirmed an adult male was found dead outside and a 10-year-old boy was injured at the corner of 30th and Stone. Lieutenant Shane Myers says units were dispatched to the shooting just after 7:30 Friday night. Myers adds the victim was outside at the time of the shooting and several others inside the home. Upon arrival, police confirmed an adult male deceased in the lawn. The 10-year-old boy was grazed by glass from a broken window inside the home. Myers warns nearby residents to be aware of their surroundings.
Just as any time, I think you should be cautious. It is an active investigation and we're not sure of the suspects at this time.
Again, this is an ongoing investigation and no arrests have been made at this time. In Omaha, Kent Lutzen, 3 News Now.
And joining us now is Wells Fargo's Christina Castro-Matukowicz and event organizer Kylie Vanami. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies.
Thanks for having us. Yes.
And we are talking about the New Year's Eve fireworks, something that a lot of people have been looking forward to. It's been a great event for several years, but this year there's quite a few changes. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so this year, because of the Jean Leahy Mall construction, where we usually have it, we're now having it over by TD Ameritrade Park and CHI Health Center. So people will be able to go there. There's plenty of free parking in lots A, B, and C of the CHI Health Center, and then also in the Gallup lot, so people can get an up-close view of the fireworks this year.
And you said it's going to be kind of a more comfortable setting for people because it's cold out in the wintertime and people are going to be able to watch those fireworks from their car.
Yeah, it actually worked out very well because it's going to be more comfortable, like you said. If you park your car in any of the parking lots that we mentioned, you can tune up to the radio station and listen to the music while you watch the wonderful firework display. So no need to get out in the cold or to rush. It's going to be very comfortable.
What kind of music can they hear during the fireworks?
Yeah, so if when you're in your car, you just tune into Star 104.5 and we'll have one-hit wonders that are choreographed to the fireworks.
Oh, I love that. Now this is such a huge thing that you guys put together. Tell me a little bit about the work that goes into making all of this possible.
Well, we start in the summer, so it takes some months to get it going. And J&M Displays, who does our fireworks, it takes them about 2 months to get the soundtrack and to make sure that the fireworks are going off right on cue.
Wow. Now, this year was unique because you guys had to move things around, and I know in past years you've had some unique challenges with the weather, having to reschedule because of cold, snow. Is there any chance of that this year, of having to reschedule, or with everyone being in their cars, is there more security in that?
Well, I think if wind is a big issue, so if it is windy and if it's over 15 miles per hour, we will have to reschedule just due to the safety of shooting off the fireworks. But the weather is looking beautiful right now, so we have our fingers crossed that we won't have to reschedule this year.
Yeah, we're going to have to hold Mark to that.
Yes.
Yes. We could definitely use some nice weather for New Year's Eve. What do you think the kiddos are going to be most excited about?
I think just being really up close this year. Wouldn't you say?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And you know that they are going to be together. It's going to be warm in the car. I think depending on the weather every year, it's been like you have to bundle up, you have to find a spot that is not too windy, and being in the car is going to be really nice for people.
And what happens after the fireworks?
So after the fireworks, we do have the Capital District Ice Rink, so that is still open. It'll be open till 10. So once people are done with the fireworks, they can head on over. It's really close. And they can do some ice skating.
I've already checked it out. It is a lot of fun. Now, once again, the New Year's Eve Fireworks Spectacular takes place next Tuesday, starting at 7 p.m. at the CHI Health Center and TD Ameritrade Park. You can find out more at holidaylightsfestival.org.